Hello and welcome to day 12. And today is going to be the approach to 30 days of happiness during the holidays. Let me just fix this screen share because it's looking a little distorted. Okay, there we go. And great. Okay, so we're all started. What I'm going to do is today is going to be dedicated strictly to questions. If you have any questions at all that you'd like to share, I want to invite you to posting your questions in the chat box. I've gotten a lot of emails, so today is going to be a great opportunity for us to discuss them. I have some that I've saved from the emails and then others that I'll be answering as we go. If today's your first day joining, I just want to remind you that this is a free webinar series, 30 Days to Happiness During the Holidays. Each day we choose a different topic. Today I wanted to open it up to you as the community and answer the questions that you have. I am a certified life coach and also a teacher and trainer of the science of happiness through a company called Happiness. I've gotten a lot of fabulous emails from people indicating that they've really gotten a lot of help from the tools that we shared. We did have, last 2 days I had to cancel. My internet was so broken and choppy, I could not possibly do a webinar. So I finally got them here today and we're up and running. So let's see, giving everyone a few minutes to jump on. I hope that you have your questions ready. I want to hear from you. I want you to go ahead and ask as many questions as you need. We all have personal challenges. The benefit of being able to share your questions on the webinar is that I'm going to keep it confidential. Your name is not going to be mentioned. And I'll be able to share with you some information and tools on how to get through different situations. So I'm going to start out with a few of the questions that I've received via email. And in the meantime, start typing your questions. Let's make sure we have the chat enabled. One moment. Chat. The chat is open. You have a chat box. If you're on your cell phone, there is a button that you, what do you have to do? You have to go view desktop, and after you view the desktop, then you'll be able to open up the chat box. So if you're listening to this from your cell phone or watching this from your cell phone, you just have to do a desktop view and then enable the chat box. So one of the first questions I have was, how do you deal with when you're feeling alone and you live out of state, you don't have the money to get back home for the holidays, and how do you handle that? So you may have different options that you can do. I realize that your family, your friends, the ones that are most important to you might not be within your reach this year, and you might not be able to spend the time with them. Ways that you can build connection with technology is, people's phones now have the iChat and the Google Voice, like I'm using, or Google Hangouts. Skype, all these different things. You can Skype with your relatives and family and still at least see them, to spend some time with them on the holiday, and then make the holiday your own. Just because you can't get back home, it doesn't mean that you have to stay home on the holidays. A person that emailed me indicated that they didn't have any friends or family that were nearby. And if you can't get out to people that you know, you can build a community. So reach out. I mentioned the other day in a webinar that you can also do some volunteer work. Maybe you want to go to a local church, an organization. There's so many things in the community of people that need people around them. Even volunteering in a nursing home. Many people in the nursing home or hospitals are in there and they have no visitors. So you can, when you're doing the act of giving, the gratitude is so fulfilling and rewarding that you're not going to notice that you don't have the people that you want with you. But still make that time and do phone calls, or if possible, do some video calls. And that way you can have that sense of connection with them. And again, please type your questions in the right-hand side. I'm checking it periodically to see if there's anything there. I'm going to go down the list of questions that I do have here in the interim. Another situation which I would say the same thing, a person said they didn't have enough money this year to get through the holidays. So if you're struggling financially this year, you can take the same advice and consider doing some volunteer work. If the volunteer work isn't an option for you, there's a lot of people that need side jobs done, and maybe you still have some time to make some extra money. If you have any things that are around your house and you're not using, maybe you want to sell them. You can sell them on eBay, Craigslist, and your local papers, and just make some extra money. There's a lot of places that are still hiring for the holidays with the holiday rush. You can try that as well. Another one I have is how to balance everything when you're feeling overwhelmed. What I recommend doing is writing a list and really prioritizing what needs to be done, what can wait, and putting things in a logical order for you. When you feel that it's more than you can manage in a day, then start to delegate and ask for help. You don't have to be Superman or Superwoman. Reach out and ask for help. You don't have to take on everything by yourself. And let people know exactly what it is that you need help with. So I think the key to when you're feeling overwhelmed is delegation. Okay, I want to check in with everyone online. I see quite a few people signed on. I don't see any questions yet. What brought you here today, and what has been your biggest challenge dealing with the holiday? I want to hear from you. So there's usually about a minute delay. I'm going to give you a moment to answer. And if you can hear that noise, I'm sitting in my living room today. I'm usually in my office, and I have a waterfall going. So hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, we have a question today. I can't get off for the holiday and I want to see my family. I'm not sure what to do. There's a lot of jobs out there that not everyone is fortunate enough to have off for the holidays. There's people that work in hospitals, retail, all different kinds of positions that you're not able to. What I would recommend is try and see if you're able to schedule some time with those that are close to you, your friends, your family, and make a special day. Maybe you want to have kind of like a second Christmas. And there's no reason why you can't celebrate. If you're not there depending on your schedule, if you could be there for part of it, that's wonderful. But if you're not able to enjoy any part of your holiday because of your schedule, whether you're, tied up in the office or sent away to another location, whatever the case may be, I would recommend getting people together and having another gathering. Or some people even celebrate Christmas Eve if that's an option for you. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to celebrate, she called it Little Christmas. I don't remember the meaning behind it, but it's, I think, January 6th. I guess you can Google it. But she would always do something extra on January 6th. So maybe that's something you can consider, is doing something for Little Christmas. But I would definitely make sure that you don't overlook the time together and see what kind of flexibility you have and how you can bring everyone in. Okay, I hope that helps. Anybody else? I'll give you a few minutes to type your questions. Okay, I had someone else that had emailed me and they wanted to know how to deal with sickness during the holiday. Both she herself and her children all have a genetic illness, which from the email I believe is terminal. And that could be a lot to deal with emotionally. What I would recommend is focusing on what you have right now, as small as it is. And even if the money's not there and the gifts aren't there, the most important thing is the love is there. And the time that you do have together, I think it's important to focus on that time and not to focus on what you don't have, but focus on what you do have. Maybe you want to spend some time looking at photo albums or being nostalgic, creating activities that you can do together. I'm not sure specifically the exact condition of your health, if it's something that you're able to still participate with different things. It doesn't have to be a physical activity, but maybe you want to just create some type of game that kind of can connect to your heart or your soul. Just a storytelling game, something to share memories. I would just focus on the positive. If a concern would be to make sure that you're able to get gifts under the tree for the children, or I would check with local communities or churches, see if you can register. And I know that in many organizations that I've worked with, there is a list of families that we donate to and we bring gifts to every year. So I would definitely look into seeing if that's possible. I'm sure that there's quite a few resources that can pull together so that you can have a nice meal and have something under the tree. I know that you mentioned that you were having a hard time even pulling together for your utilities. And I'm not sure where you live. You didn't leave your address. But there is also a lot of hardship programs through social services and community centers, different organizations. There's like the Catholic Daughters, I think, and there's a couple of different organizations that will help you when you're having a hard time with your rent, your utilities, and things that are not extras, but things that you need to have. So it's important to have your basics covered, especially when you're not healthy. So there are different resources out there I would look at. And I believe, at least I'm in New York, we have a lot of different resources that help with people on fixed income and having a different rate. I don't know how they calculate it, but I've seen where they have different rates for utilities so that you can make sure that you're not left in the dark or in the cold. I don't know if you have medical equipment that you need at home to make sure that's on, but I would definitely reach out to them and let them know that this is the situation that you're dealing with. Any other questions? Anyone want to type a question on the chat box? I'd be glad to answer it for you. We've had one live question so far, the rest of them through email. So if you see on the right-hand side where it says chat box, I think someone else just came on, we're taking live questions. So if you would like to post your question, I would be happy to answer it for you on what is challenging you this holiday season. Just share that in the box on the right-hand side. So what brought you to the call today? What is it that you're struggling with this holiday? If no questions come up, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the emails that I received. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Oh wait, something's coming through. Okay, so I have a question. Someone's asking how to deal with the family during the holiday season when there's alcoholism involved. What I would do is try to, depending on the actual circumstances of the alcoholism, I would try to avoid having any alcohol at the party and maybe have some different types of beverages. You can have sparkling cider, or you can have, there's a drink that I love called Sorrel, and if you Google it, it's Sorrell, I believe. It's a Caribbean drink, but it reminds me of wine. So you can make it from scratch, and some of the recipes online will have alcohol in it, but you can make it without alcohol as well. And it has that nice, strong wine-type flavor because it has cloves in it and sorrel leaves. And it's nice around the holiday time. So, you know, you can just make some exotic things, make some non-alcoholic drinks and still have fun with it. And hopefully, you know, they don't bring anything themselves or come to the party drunk. If they're acting out and it's disrupting other people, you know, you might need to ask them to leave and someone will give them a ride home or get them to a safe place. But, you know, it's important that you, outside of the holiday, you know, deal with their alcoholism if you have the opportunity. And, you know, maybe if you have to reach out to Al-Anon for family of people of alcoholics, then try to schedule some type of intervention to support this person during a difficult time. They might not be able to, you know, they're trying, they're struggling, they may want to be sober, but they don't have the tools or resources. It's possible they might need to go into rehab if they can't do it on their own. So the important thing is to try to be supportive to them and acknowledge where they are at this time. Okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity before we wrap up to ask any other questions. Today's going to be a short one. Okay, I don't see anything. Great. So I want to thank you all for joining. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm happy to be back, and hopefully you're able to hear me clearly, because that was the main reason I couldn't do the webinar. It was chopping me up and I sounded like a robot. So there's no way I would have been able to go live. So again, I'm glad to answer any of these questions. If you have something else that you didn't get the chance to share today, please email me directly. It's Amanda@empowerlifecoach.com. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.